Welcome, witches and wizards
Yes.
and muggles.
No.
We are back today with another Harry Potter video.
Yep.
This one is filled with intrigue and mystery.
Yeah.
We are talking about Harry Potter conspiracy theories. So if you are curious, you just kill them.
No.
If you're curious about some weird, unknown, almost unbelievable conspiracy theories, stick around.
Stick around to find out.
So, the one that a lot of people believe is that Ronald Weasley and Dumbledore
Do you need that?
are the same person. So,
Okay.
as crazy as it sounds, the conspiracy goes that Harry, Hermione, and Ron lived their life like the way we all saw it in the movies and read it in the books. Now, it is believed that at some point in the future, when Ron is older, he is given the chance to go back in time and live a second life as Dumbledore. Reason why is because when people describe the two, there are certain similarities. For example, Dumbledore and Ron were both redheads.
Yeah.
They were both described to have long noses.
Okay.
Moreover, Dumbledore was said to have an injury in one of his knees.
Okay.
And Ron got injured in Prisoner of Azkaban on the knee.
Okay.
Okay. They also look alike. Like if you put a picture side by side, they do look very much alike. And if you think about it, he knows everything. Dumbledore knows everything. Throughout the whole series, every time Harry, Hermione, and Ron are doing something, somehow Dumbledore knows exactly what they're doing. Like he knew all along every little move. So how could he know? Unless he was Ron himself and he had already lived all this and was brought back. Also the fact that Dumbledore is Harry Potter's mentor and you always see the relationship as a very close friendship. People think Ron and Dumbledore are the exact same person.
That wouldn't make sense because, who would have been the other Dumbledore?
I don't know.
That's why I feel like it falls apart.
It falls apart a little bit, for sure.
If he is the Dumbledore that helps them through this whole way, how did that happen before that?
Well, we know.
I guess time is weird. But
We know quite a bit, right? We know that Dumbledore had a sister and a brother and other things, right? So, and they have their own story. We know the story of Dumbledore. So this kind of negates, I think, Dumbledore. Or it says whatever Dumbledore went through, lived through, that's valid. But then somehow the Dumbledore that we get to know from beginning to end of Harry Potter is Ron. Coming back.
probably not.
I definitely give this theory a 2 out of 10. Yeah. I do not think
2 out of 10.
I don't think it's believable. However, I do
Ron's not smart
appreciate. He's actually quite smart. I do appreciate. Hello, he won the chess tournament, the hardest ever played chess tournament.
Oh yeah, but
No,
you
oh
can
yeah,
be smart in
no,
chess
oh
and
yeah,
not smart in anything else.
Point of the line is, no point of the line. I don't know why I keep saying that. The point is,
You gotta stop waving your wand at them.
It is an interesting storyline.
Yeah, but it doesn't really make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So I'll give it a 2.
Because Ron would have had to know exactly that to have happened, so he would have had to do the same thing all over again. Which would it really be Ron? I don't understand. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a little bit conflicting of a story. However, I give it 2 points for creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Now the next one is about everyone's favorite Gryffindor that should have been a Hufflepuff, Neville Longbottom.
Neville Longbottom. The actor is actually a Hufflepuff.
He is a Hufflepuff.
I watched the video.
We watched the video. But people believe that Neville So in the beginning of the movies and the books, he was horrendous at magic, right? Like you had him like going up in that broom, like, you know, like not like living his best life. You also have him like failing at several different things. But at the end, the last book, he actually becomes like
Yeah,
a big time.
Didn't he get like Excalibur?
The Gryffindor sword, baby.
Same thing.
Yeah, like everyone knows that like at the beginning of the early years, he was screwing up spells left and right. Like left and right. And it's funny because he is coming from one of the most powerful magical families. Like the Longbottom family was a pure breed family. It was quite strong.
Oh,
So
they were dead.
they weren't dead, they were tortured, and then they lost their mind.
Oh, I thought he killed him.
No, Beatrix Lestrange didn't kill them. She tortured them to the point that their minds snapped, and they just like lived the remaining of their lives, like just not there.
I swear in the movies they died. They killed him.
Absolutely not. I can assure you. In fact, I'll take a quiz. I have read these books way too many times and seen these movies way too many times. They're not dead. They were just not here. But like it's really interesting considering that he comes from one of the most powerful magical families that he was so bad at magic. Right? And then like we see their friendship slowly starts to like increase with Harry Potter. Like, you know, he helps them in the Triwizard Tournament had it not been for Neville, even though he was a little manipulated, you know, by the bad guy. Harry would not have been able to do that tournament when he had to go underwater because Neville was the one who gave him the little weed that he could eat to breathe underwater. So we know he's quite intelligent. He's just not doing well. And then the idea of this is that the reason why Neville was so bad in the beginning is because he was always using the wrong wand all along. Because I don't know if you remember at the end of the movie, I think Neville, for whatever reason, changes wands. His breaks or something. And he changes wands. And he just becomes...
Wasn't he supposed to have the Elder Wand?
I think he did at one point.
I swear he disarmed... Didn't he disarm Severus?
Yeah.
I don't recall what happened there.
That's the thing, right? Like, there's no really proof of this theory that he... Because in the wizardly world, the wand chooses the wizard, right? So if the wizard were to choose a wand, like, that's never going to be full potential right there. So I don't remember if Neville's wand was one of his parents or like if he just never chose his wand. Like the wand never chose him. He chose it.
Yeah.
And then his broke. And then he had to actually go get a different wand. And then that's when he'd all changed. So we don't really know.
I mean, that makes sense.
It does make sense. Like the conspiracy, it sounds right.
Said that he was the owner of the Elder Wand.
I don't think so. Harry was.
Yeah, but at one point
because Harry disarmed Draco.
No, but wasn't it Neville who disarmed Draco first? And then Harry had to, I guess... And then I think Snape maybe took it from him or something. I don't know how.
I can't recall. Because
but I
remember...
he had the Elder Wand at one point.
Hold on.
Or maybe what's it called? Dumbledore made him do it?
In the world of Harry Potter, a wizard doesn't choose the wand chooses the wizard. It's a process. Now, Neville used... I was right. Neville used his father's wand for years. Which fans believe explains why he was in always trouble. Because like the wand didn't choose him. The wand chose his father. And he chose the wand of his father. So you will never be able to live at your full potential. So various spells during the first years of Hogwarts, he failed at. Because the wand wasn't his.
Yep.
And he had no connection with it. Now, he was good at herbology, we know that, but that's because herbology doesn't really utilize charms or magic, it's just knowledge. Neville's wand broke in the Order of the Phoenix, prompting him to get another one, a wand that would actually choose him this time. After that, Neville's skills improved and his confidence did as well, which is very true, because from the Order of the Phoenix all the way to Half-Blood Prince, we see him like gain some confidence. To the point that at the end, he kills the snake. He's the one who beheads it.
Oh, with the sword?
Yeah. with
Right.
Gryffindor sword. And the Gryffindor sword only comes to worthy Gryffindor. So we know that there was definitely an arch with Neville. So it is not far-fetched to believe that he wasn't bad in the beginning. He just did not have the right equipment.
I don't even think that's a conspiracy. That just sounds like what it is.
So it was never proven because the way it happened was he was using his father's wand, and the way the books and the movies portrayed him is just as a clumsy little chubby guy. So it was never assured that, hey, it wasn't the kid's fault. It was mainly the fact that he didn't have the right wand.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like that's what would have happened because you just said that the wand chooses the person. So if he never chose, the wand never chose him, yeah, like, isn't that what they do in the thing? It's like whenever he tries to give him a wand, it'll like explode or just do nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening to him. And so he just thought that he was just being clumsy and stuff, not realizing that it's just not his wand. But like I thought they make everyone go through the whole wand picking ceremony thing. Or is that if you're in that store, I guess, and he just never had the money maybe?
No, he had money. His parents were loaded. It was just a matter of, again, oldest magical families. I think it was just a matter of he had lost both his parents and he never felt close to his parents because his parents could never be there because they weren't mentally there. So the closest thing he could be to his father was to pick his wand. This next theory is all about Harry Potter and basically blames the whole thing of his infancy on Harry Potter. So, as we all know, spoilers up ahead if you haven't read the books or watched the movies. What is wrong with you?
At this point,
What
even
is
I
wrong with
haven't.
you?
I don't even really care about.
But Harry Potter is a Horcrux. He's the last Horcrux. When Voldemort tried to kill him, the spell bounced back, and a part of Voldemort latched onto Harry. So he is a Horcrux. Now, for those who are not in the magical world, Horcrux are the darkest form of magic. They're an artifact that is basically achieved by murdering someone. Whether the Horcrux is a person or an object, the consequences are basically the same. It just creates a wave of darkness and hostility around the surroundings in which the Horcrux exists. So, for example, the necklace that they found in that like cave place, Dumbledore saw the effects because he was drinking the water where the Horcrux existed, and you saw it right away in him, the change. So much like that, Harry is a Horcrux. So this conspiracy blames all of Harry's misfortunes, mainly his aunt and uncle and cousin, the Dursleys, which were terrible to Harry, made him live in a cupboard under the stairs and all that stuff. The cousin bullied him. He did not get any presents for Christmas. He was very mistreated. They blame all of that on Harry himself. Since he was a Horcrux, he would have created that hostility atmosphere around him, causing the Dursleys to feel the effects of the Horcrux and become evil or mean. So this kind of paints the Dursleys as the victims of Harry.
But wouldn't they be mean to everyone then?
So,
because I remember Ron when he was getting the effects of the Horcrux, like he was just mean to both of them.
But it was because he was in the vicinity of the Horcrux. So when you're around the Horcrux,
yeah,
you would feel the effects.
No, yeah, but like when you feel the effects, you feel it towards everyone, not just towards him.
Yeah, but if you actually think about it, we never really see the Dursleys in proximity of Harry with somebody else.
No, but they would be, mad with each other as well.
I don't think so.
I do, because they were angry with everyone. Like Ron was angry with both Harry and Hermione.
So if you think about it, like...
But Hermione was not a Horcrux of any kind, so with that theory, he should have been fine with them.
With what?
With Hermione, but he wasn't. He was also angry with Hermione.
Yeah, Ron abandoned Hermione and Harry in the woods.
Yeah, but that was because that's what I'm saying, that if it was only the person who is a Horcrux, right, that you get mad at, right, which would explain why they were mad only at him and not everyone else, then same thing with Ron. He should have only been angry with Harry.
Not really, because Ron's whole thing was he thought Harry and Hermione were like together or like in love, right? That's what the Horcrux played on his mind, the idea that Harry was such an amazing wizard, such a catch, and Ron was not enough. So why would Hermione be with him if she could be with the greatest wizard? You know? So it played on that fear. So what if the Dursleys were victims of Harry's Horcrux in the sense that they played on the fact that Harry was the reason for all their misfortune? So they banded together in the common thought that Harry was the reason for all their misfortune. Now, there is an opposing theory to this own theory, which is if Harry caused this whole thing on the Dursleys, why did he not cause it with Ron and Hermione and all the guys that were around him? If he would create that hostility air, then it does not explain why Hermione and Ron were so kind towards him.
Well, I thought they were muggles, that's why.
Technically, Hermione is a muggle.
But she has the affinity for magic, which makes her
but if you actually
more resilient.
Yeah, but if you actually even think deeper on this, Petunia, Harry's aunt, her sister, which is Harry's mom, was a wizard. So a wizard runs in that family. So technically, she would have had magic somewhere in the line. So she would have been better at it.
But she didn't have magic.
It doesn't matter. Same way with Hermione. She doesn't have magic. She had the affinity. But that would have meant that somewhere down the line in Hermione's family, there must have been a magic or a wizard at some point, witch or wizard at some point, right? Same thing with Petunia and Harry and Lily, Harry's mom. Somewhere down the line of their blood lineage, there was a wizard or a witch at some point.
No, yeah, but like currently Hermione has it.
Yeah.
While the aunt does not.
I don't know. It's a really interesting theory.
Whose lineage is where. The point is who has it currently. So like Hermione can currently withstand more dark forces than a regular muggle.
Maybe.
She's not a regular muggle.
True. I'm not sure on that theory. I definitely see potential in it. But I don't know why, if Harry was the cause for that, he would not have affected anyone around him in the wizardly world. So, because Horcrux affect wizards and muggles alike. Hence why the Horcrux affected Dumbledore, the greatest wizard of all time, so strongly. So if Harry is a Horcrux, darkest form of magic, he would have afflicted something on the guys.
I mean, also Harry wasn't he the last one?
Mm-hmm.
So the one they were touching, the stone or whatever?
Yeah.
Maybe that was one of the first ones where the most energy was.
I don't think it works that way.
Because it's Voldemort taking out a piece of himself to put in someone else.
Yeah, but even
he intentionally put pieces into those. Harry was not intentional Horcrux.
Mayhaps.
So like probably Voldemort didn't put as much of his soul into it.
Perhaps. We don't really understand the whole logistics of it all. I definitely think it has
I think that's something to do with it.
I think it has some form of sense to the conspiracy, but I don't really see it 100%. So I'm going to give it a 6. But I see where it's coming from. There is some logic. It's just not 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But I don't think Harry was the cause of it.
I don't think so either, but you never know, honestly.
Because of what I was saying, it should have affected everyone against everyone type thing. Because they all kept being in the vicinity. And I think there was some people around him in school and stuff that he was not good with, I think, or that he was good with. Or did they never show him in regular people's school? Was he ever in regular people's school? Was he ever in the Muggle school?
Whom?
Harry.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Because I was thinking about the trip when they went to the zoo, but that was just with the family.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I don't know. Okay, so the last one is a little bit cuckoo.
It's the last one?
Last one.
Okay.
And it is...
Pay attention.
Hogwarts was not a school of magic, but rather an insane asylum. Now bear with me here. As insane as it sounds, many people do believe that the world of Harry Potter is so supernatural and unique that the only explanation is that it would have been imagined by all characters altogether. A hysteria of all sorts, a mass hysteria of all sorts. Meaning things like talking paintings, talking animals, character hearing voices, ghosts, like the list goes on and on, spells, all that. That would only be explained if Hogwarts was an insane asylum. And it goes very deep into it. Like, for example, in the Philosopher's Stone, Harry sees the mirror. And the mirror is hinted that people have gone crazy staring at the mirror, right? Like lost themselves staring at the mirror. Even Dumbledore warns him that people have been driving mad because of the magical artifact. So we have some sense of like lunacy there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I thought you said they were already crazy.
Yeah,
so
but like it basically hints that the book gives you hints that they're all psycho. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like that's one. Then another one is the fact that the books and the movies portray the students acting crazy with like murderous rage, i.e. Draco Malfoy. Like, because you can see like Draco has like a tendency for violence. Not just Draco, by the way, like Ron even like throwing the slug puking spell onto Draco right away. Draco calling Hermione names. Like in general, through the movies, you see a lot of students having like crazy ass murderous intent. Like the whole labyrinth scene in the Triwizard Tournament in the 4th movie. Like, come on, that Victor Crumb when he's like staring like this at Harry through the maze. People are like, what the hell's going on here, right? So the whole idea of the murderous intent in the students, that all has to do with like children who have gone intense disorders of the mind. They become very violent and enraged. So it also plays onto that. And then the fact that the moon is a symbol of craziness, lunacy. And Lupin undergoes the transformation of a werewolf every full moon, meaning he goes cuckoo every so often. And last but not last one is that Harry supposedly dies and meets the professor at King's Cross, meets Dumbledore at King's Cross.
Where's King's Cross?
The station.
Oh, where he met him?
Yeah, it's all white, right? And he asks him, tell me one last thing. Is this real? Or has it been something, or has it been happening inside my head? So Harry himself asks Dumbledore, has this all been going on in my head? Like, have I been imagining things? And Dumbledore responds, of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. But why on earth should that mean it is not real? So people believe that this sentence, just the fact that like Dumbledore says, of course it's happening inside your head, is a proof to two theories. Either Hogwarts is an insane asylum, everyone's crazy, and everyone is imagining things together in a mass hysteria, or that Harry Potter never left the cupboards under the stairs. He never left his imprisonment with the Dursleys, and he just imagined Hogwarts and imagined an escape in order to cope with the effed upness that was his life. And it's very, very popular theory that he made it all up, and then in the end he had to come back to reality. So he killed himself, right? Said like, Harry Potter dies. And he has this moment of like realization when he sees Dumbledore and he asks him, is this real? Like, am I imagining all this in my head? And Dumbledore goes, yeah, you've imagined it all in your head, but that doesn't mean it cannot be real.
I thought they were just talking about that last part.
So yeah, but also it does make sense, especially considering that when they show you in the books, the first instance of Harry's childhood, you realize how bad it is. Like, he's living under a cupboard, very cramped space. He's basically treated like a slave. He's mistreated. He doesn't have any relationship. He doesn't have family, really, because Dursleys don't really treat him as family. So it is not far-fetched that he would have created Hogwarts as a way of coping with it all. And fun fact, J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, actually did not shut this down. Someone told her this theory in an interview, and she said, and I quote, I think that's a fabulous point, and that it speaks so perfectly to the truth of the books, because I had it suggested more than once that Harry actually did go mad in a cupboard, and there's everything that happened subsequently was some sort of fantasy like he developed to save himself. So she agrees that it makes sense that Harry would have made it up all in his head.
I mean, if you were trying to go with like a more realistic thing.
And sad and dark and depressing, and I hate it.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, that would ruin the entire franchise, I feel. If that was what it was actually. Like at the very end, the last movie, they just like, come back to like his reality and he's just back in the cupboard, same age, and you'll be like, what?
Yeah.
That'd be bad.
It's definitely like
but
not
then,
the
like,
best.
How does he imagine all these people? You know, if you don't know them, how do you imagine them?
I mean, you can imagine people. He could have seen them once passing through. Like, that's kind of how people with, like, you know, mental disorders sometimes cope. Like, your mailman could be your love interest. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just a form of coping and putting together pieces that don't fit, but making them fit in your head in order to to cope with the fact.
Oh, okay, I see.
You know? I feel like that one's really dark, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna end it in like a lighter one because this is kind of like the hell. But there is a theory that every Hufflepuff ever was always eating a sandwich.
What do you mean eating a sandwich? You gotta tell them where the reference is from because they have no idea what you're talking about.
From How I Met Your Mother, they were always eating a sandwich.
If you've seen How I Met Your Mother, they were always eating a sandwich. Nice. What was the point of saying that? You went through that whole shenanigans just to show them exactly what you meant.
I just couldn't say it. But they are always eating a sandwich. Wink, wink. And like, I feel like that is the best theory ever because if you've ever seen a Hufflepuff in action, like, yeah, they look all the time. And that's just simply because we all know they have a tendency to always kind of act spaced out. That's kind of very Hufflepuff.
But what about the main Hufflepuff guy?
Huh?
Twilight guy.
Yeah, he always was spaced out. Hello? That whole interaction with Cedric where he's like standing in front of Harry and Harry's like, oh, by the way, the next task is dragons. And like a normal person's reaction would have been like, what are you talking? What? They're gonna give us dragon? Like that would have been a normal person reaction. And instead you got the, oh.
Why?
Thanks, man.
But it's a magical school. So they already know about dragons.
Yeah, but dragons are considered to be like psychotic. Hello, Hagrid, and like literally a teacher that teaches about creatures found a dragon, and even he was like this kind of like, you know, like even he knew the danger of a dragon to the point that they made him get rid of it because he was that crazy to have a dragon on campus. So, you know, if someone tells you like, hey, by the way, you know that forbidden creature that we all get scared of and we all just ship them to Romania and leave them there because we're so scared of them. Oh yeah, congrats. You're about to fight it. And it's a mother dragon. And we're going to make her think that that's her egg. And you have to go get her egg from the mother dragon. Anybody with common sense would be like, excuse me? Are you trying to get me killed? Meanwhile, he's just over here sitting, chilling. He's like, oh, okay. I didn't tell them to wear the pins, by the way. It's like, who did you think my preoccupation is that people are wearing pins? I'm thinking I'm gonna die. Like, that's kind of where I was like, what the hell is going on? And beyond the point, Huff and Puff. Hufflepuff.
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
Yeah, I guess. What was this J.K. Rowling's person on to?
It is right, though. Like,
okay?
they always act kind of psychotic.
They barely showed them, though. Like, I feel like Cedric was, like, the only Hufflepuff.
No.
Who else was Hufflepuff?
Oh, it's kind of difficult because, like, they're described as, like, always nice and...
I just thought about it. Couldn't they make more movies about the other houses? Because, like, this was basically a movie about Gryffindor.
And Slytherins. You see Slytherin and Gryffindor
Slytherin
common
like
room.
the bad.
Yeah, but you see both common rooms. You really get to feel of the.
Slytherin common room?
Of course,
I don't remember
it's in the dungeons, like under. like very dark and blah blah. Actually, Harry and Ron become Draco's like buddies to get information, and they go down there and you see them in their common room. So you see the common room for that, and you see the common room for Gryffindor, but you don't really ever see Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw.
Well, you can't see Ravenclaw.
Well, Ravenclaw is supposedly the coolest with the best view.
Yeah, and it's impossible to get in. You have to solve the riddle.
I feel like you would just be like sitting outside, like just waiting. You're like, anybody figure it out yet? Like someone just let me know. Because it's too much effort.
It's possible.
Meanwhile, I'm over here with like parchment and a quill.
I usually like trying to solve riddles. I enjoy riddles. They're fun.
I really like riddles.
Let us know. Do you guys like riddles?
Nice. That was like, what was that?
I have to fix it. See? Riddles.
But let us know which one you rate. I rate this one like a 4 out of 10 on the 10 out of 10 on the funny scale, because I do think they always look like they're eating a sandwich. And Huff and Puff says it itself. But it's really interesting.
I guess those are funny coincidences.
Yeah.
So it's possible that it could be real.
Some people also think that Ginny gave Harry a love potion, and that's why Harry.
Who's Ginny?
Ginny is Ron's sister.
Oh,
that's the one Harry ends up with. And people always thought that did not really make any sense, how they ended up together.
Well, wasn't she... Isn't the only person they think that should have ended up with him was Hermione?
Not even that. Like
who's the other prospect?
I'm sorry. Like, one sec. So, like, in Prisoner of Azkaban and in Order of the Phoenix... Not in Prisoner of the... In Order of the Phoenix and in... No, I think Order of the Phoenix is the best example. In Order of the Phoenix, you see Harry falling dead over heels.
Head over heels.
Head over heels with Cho, the Ravenclaw. And then even later, you see him like, that's not Order. Order of the Phoenix is where you see him like kiss for the first time. And then you have the fourth movie where... he's like in love and tries to invite her to the ball, and like she's like, sorry, I'm going with Cedric, crazy. But like it just kind of happens that Harry falls in love with Ginny just magically, and people are like, where did this come from? Like, he was in love with Cho, and like everybody wanted him to be in love with Hermione, but where the hell did Ginny come from? It just came from left field,
I don't think Cho was supposed to be like the love interest. I think she was just like a lust of sorts. Like, he was just into her, but, like, he wasn't, like, about her. Like, he was, like, kind of like the first crush thing of a little kid. And then, but because she wanted Hermione and Ron to be together, realistically, there was no real love interest.
I just think,
right?
I do see some point. I just think...
Because I think they do that one thing when they're at the house, right? And she's all, like, about it. And then even like Harry is kind of like awkward around her.
I don't get where Ginny came from. I never did. I remember reading the books and being like, where the flop did this come from? Then now Harry's head over heels with this girl. Like, what the hell just happened? And I remember thinking, this doesn't make any sense. And come to find out, if you actually read about it even more, like, why would Harry all of a sudden just have an attraction for red hair girls when like the previous one was like nothing to do with Ginny, like nothing. There's no connection. And like, more importantly, he did not show any interest in Ginny until Ron's brothers, George and Fred, open a store where they sell magic, potions, jinx, tricks, and they also sell love potions. In fact, Ron gets like screwed and he gets into a love potion with that other girl. Point of the line. Harry had no interest in Ginny. Ginny's brothers sell love potions. All of a sudden, Harry's interested in Ginny. Head over heels, okay? Jumping into fire.
Yeah, but he wasn't as crazy as Ron was.
I agree that this makes sense. 10 out of 10 for me in the scale. I never got it. I was like,
it was just because it was off screen.
Literally, if Harry was like, oh, I'm in love with Luna, I would have been like, that makes more sense, because at least they had a connection over like seeing animals that the other people could not see, and the grief and the loss. At least that made more sense. And Harry's kinder to her. That made more sense. This is all like, what the hell is this? It makes sense for Ginny because Harry saved her. So that makes sense. But Harry? to Ginny makes zero sense. Also, kind of weird. Let's be realistic. If you have a best friend and your best friend all of a sudden likes your sister and she's younger.
I mean, I don't know. I think it was like she just this J.K. Rowling person. I don't think she really fully thought out
Love interests.
his relationship, because I think at first she might have wanted Hermione and him.
It made total sense.
Right? But then she's like, no, they make more sense with Ron.
No, it doesn't.
And then once that happened, once she decided that, she's like, well, now who am I supposed to do? Okay, well, let's just do the next person. Whatever.
Literally, Ron and Hermione make no sense. Zero, nada, zilch, zippo. Like, niente, nothing. Like, in fact, when I was reading and watching the movies, I was like, what the hell is this crap? Because they don't fit. Like, at least Harry and Hermione fit in some level. But Ron was always like the odd man out. Like, the you know.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be best friends. BFFs.
I would like to file a complaint.
BFFFFFFs.
But that is all for today.
Yes,
thank you
best
for
friends.
watching.
Yes,
Don't
thank
forget
you.
to leave in the comments which conspiracy you liked best. Which
And
one
is
you
there
think more sense.
Any other ones that you guys have heard?
Oh, there's tons.
So
Tons.
let us know which ones you have heard.
I left out the one where Draco is a werewolf.
Why would you leave that out?
It was really long.
Oh,
To be
geez.
fair.
All right, maybe
but
another time.
we're going to leave it here.
Yep.
Thank you for sticking with us through this Harry Potter
And if you're into Harry Potter,
momentum.
check out this video. Check out this video.
Or
It
you'll
will
be
tell
jinxed.
us so you guys can see which house we are.